Welcome to week 2 of the webinar series of the Foundation Accelerator. This week we're going to talk about philanthropy and impact investing. But before we do that, let me tell you why you should listen to me. So my name's Looney. Hi, I'm your host. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I used to be a tech entrepreneur, spent 20 years building tech companies, raised a lot of money from venture capitalists, had some good exits there. And then my life changed in 2011. 2011, I discovered this amazing business school called Bainbridge Graduate Institute. It was the first business school in the world to teach how to do good using for-profit methods. We rebranded it Pinchot University and it merged with another school. It's gone now, unfortunately. But I got to teach there for 7 years, and that's where I learned how to do good through business. About a year later, I started Fledge. Fledge is a global network of conscious company accelerators. I'll tell you about that in a moment. And then I started a nonprofit. I started writing books. I got a podcast. I started teaching what I learned from BGI and spreading that around the world. So Fledge. Fledge is a global network of business accelerators that focus on mission-driven for-profit companies. So we're trying to find the best entrepreneurs out there that can do good in the world, but do it in a manner that runs in a for-profit, that earns a profit. And the fundamental thesis of that is that if they can make that profit, then they can have a bigger impact in the world, which then lets them grow their company and make a bigger impact and onward in a virtuous cycle. We've run this 15 times around the world with over 90 entrepreneurs. We're running it right now virtually because we have to. It's Fledge 16. We've got 1 company in the US and 8 companies over in Africa, which is not unheard of for us. We do a whole lot of work in the emerging markets. These are amazing companies. Again, they're all mission-driven for-profits. And if you come to fledge.co, you can see what they're about. Now, this year, we're spun up the Foundation Accelerator. We've done this because foundations and families need a new tool. They need the tool of investing to go alongside the tool of grant making. Right? And this program is here to teach you everything you need to know to make you comfortable in doing that. So why would it be an accelerator? Why not just a training class? Well, there's a bunch of things we learned from running startup accelerators over the last, dozen years in the world and 8 years at Fledge. What we learned first and foremost is that just book learning is not good enough. You actually have to do it. You have to learn some of the material and do it at the same time. So that's what we're going to do in this accelerator for the foundations. It also helps to do it as a group, as a cohort, as a bunch of peers. So we're gathering together a bunch of investment advisors and program managers and family office managers into a cohort to teach you all together so you can learn from each other, right? You probably have a lot more in common than you think. We're going to do this in a structured way because I'm a teacher. So it's got to be in a structured way, not just ad hoc, not as an apprenticeship, but in a structured program. And we're going to do it for just 10 weeks. And the reason we do it for just 10 weeks is that puts a deadline out there and it makes things happen. If we just leave it open, if it's just a class with no final exam at the end, then you may not learn what you need to learn. But at the end, we're going to actually make an investment, at least one, hopefully more. We're going to do that together, right? We're going to bring in the deals together. We're going to pick the deals together. We're going to invest together as a group. Now, before we get to that, we're doing 4 free workshops. This is week 2, and we'll do next week and the week after that as well. And then we're going to ask for commitments. And then we'll do the 10-week program. The 10-week program is Thursdays from April 23rd to June 25th. To join that program, we're asking for a $55,000 recoverable grant. $50,000 of that goes into a pool of capital that we'll together use to make investments, and the other $5,000 runs the program. Since we assume you don't know how to make an investment yet, or you're not comfortable doing that, we're not asking you to make an investment in a fund. What we're asking you to do is make a recoverable grant to a 501c3. It will do all the paperwork to make it into an investment. And then if there are any returns, and we do expect returns from these investments, then we'll send that back to your foundation, your family office, a DAF, any place that's a 501c3. So here's the list of the 4 free webinars. Again, we're in number 2, Impact Investing and Philanthropy. Next week, we'll talk about the realities of startup. The week after that, we'll answer your questions and give a little preview of what's coming up. And then this is what's coming up, right? So these are the topics that we're going to be teaching. It's mostly about blended capital because we're not expecting you to give up grants. We're expecting you to add investing to grants. And you're going to learn what investing means and how it works and the ins and outs of that, as well as how to speak like an investor, because the language is kind of different. how to manage a portfolio, how to do this in a relationship manner as opposed to a transaction manner. And then again, in the last 2 weeks, we're going to actually make some investments. Onward to the topic of the day, philanthropy and impact investing.